love that hook. I love that entire line. My one defense, my righteousness. Lord, I need you. We do. It's a reminder every day that we are really nothing without him. We really have no standing to face or to do anything that we think we can do in our own flesh. It's not there. Not without God's blessing and God's gift to us. Kevin McCullough, very glad to have you with us. It's AFA Today. We're talking about the president's specific promise that he would allow you to keep your health insurance if you liked it before the Affordable Care Act went into effect. Exactly the opposite of everything that he promised has pretty much happened. He said, for example, more people would be insured. Less people are now insured than when Obamacare went into effect because people are having policies canceled. He said if you would like to keep your policy, you could keep it. That's already been proven not true. He said the cost of health care was going to go down. It has gone up in almost every situation. People keep saying, yeah, well, my cousin said his price. I haven't talked to a single person who has said, yeah, my cost went down. Now, they may not have skyrocketed the way our friends did a couple of calls back. He said that his is more than doubled in 2 years, twice. Not everybody may be seeing that level of increase, but the promise was lower cost. The promise was greater accessibility. The promise was more doctors. Doctors have quickly exited the medical industry. There's not really an incentive for them to stay in anymore. So if they're close to retirement or something else, they've said, okay, that's fine. I'll just go ahead and call it a career. There's less incentive for new doctors to come on board. The health insurance companies are trying to figure out which end is up in their world because they still don't know how they're going to come out of all of this. But at the end of the day, it's the mom and pops. It's the people that are working with the small businesses of America that are really most at a loss when it comes to the coverage that they now no longer have that they thought that they had. 888-589-8840. And the president finally responded to it yesterday. He said, yes, I did promise in the campaign that if you liked your plan, you could keep it. But at the end of a very long explanation about how if you're a woman, I'm not going to let people hurt you, he gets to the response to that in which he says, so if you're getting a letter from one of these companies that's canceling your policies, just shop around in the new networks, in the new exchanges. Well, 56-year-old woman in Florida who was paying $54 a month for her single-person policy, liked her policy, didn't want to lose her policy, had that policy canceled by the insurance company due to Obamacare. She went and re-enrolled in the exchanges, $591 before she was spending $54 per month, a 10 times increase. 888-589-8840. Your thoughts on this as we continue to talk this afternoon. Let's talk to Cherie in Texas. Cherie, you're next on AFA Today with Kevin McCullough. Glad you're here.
Thank you, Kevin. I'm glad to be here. I just wanted to say that as Christians, my family will not be the ones going to these exchanges and signing up. I know the Democrats, the liberals, they will tell us we're against the law, we're, what you said before, we're terrorists or whatever because we don't believe that this is the right thing that the government should be doing. And it kind of reminds me of the mark. When they want you to get, one day they'll want people to get the mark on their hand or their forehead because it's the law before you can buy or sell. If we were here during that time, my family would not be getting that mark, regardless of if it's the law or not. It goes back to the Bible and a scripture that says, when you have done all you can do to stand, just stand. That's what we're going to be doing. We're not going to be going to the exchanges. We're not going to be loading all our personal information in there for who knows who and who knows where to see and manipulate. We're just not going to do it.
Well, Cherie, God bless you. I think that that if you have the ability to do that, that's a tremendous testimony to leave to the world around you. I don't know what the McCulloughs are going to do, because right now we have a plan that we are buying directly from an insurance company. At some point in time, we may get a cancellation letter. I don't know what's going to come down the pike. But I got to tell you, the idea of I will do everything else possible in this life before I enroll in Obamacare, and it's just the way it is. I'm just not gonna go that route. Let's go with David in Florida. Hi, David. Welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough on AFA Today. So glad you're with us.
I appreciate it.
Your thoughts, sir?
There's a couple of things I just want to mention. Down here in Florida, Blue Cross, there are more insurance companies than can probably be named off the top of anybody's head at the moment. Blue Cross alone in Florida has canceled 800,000 individual policy plans due to Obamacare. I'm pretty sure the national average states that probably double or triple the people have lost their insurance than the people would actually been able to successfully sign up for Obamacare as of yet.
Oh, yeah. No, it's because it's in the low, I think it's in the low 300. So you've already had 1.5 million just in the single payer, just in the single policy area, direct to the person. You've already had 1.5 million of those policies canceled, and none of that takes into effect what corporate policies were doing about a year ago, when companies decided to start canceling, within the next year. There's been millions more that have lost coverage through their employer. So what you're looking at is several million to a little more than 300,000 so far that have actually enrolled. So there's more people without insurance now than there were when Obamacare became law.
Well, my mother actually worked for Blue Cross for 23 years, and 26 years, and if she'd worked 4 more years, she got a full year 30 full pension, and she was one of the higher ups in the technical and the contracting department. And last year, as soon as the election came through, and everybody was understanding that Obama was going to be the president for the next 4 years, and the laws could not get repealed, the president of Blue Cross sent all the higher ups and anybody been there close to any pension times, given the option: we can either release you and give you the chance to find another job within the company at a lower rate, or we can give you a year's salary and you're gone from the company. So my mom was forced into early retirement along with hundreds of other employees from Blue Cross, because as soon as they realized Obama was going to be in office again and the law was actually going to go through.
Yeah. Well, Dave, I'm sorry that happened to your family. And, it's another unfortunate side effect. But the president's response to this was really what kind of triggered my thoughts for today, because he finally did say, yes, we did say if you liked it, you could keep it. But at the end of this explanation, he just says, so if you get one of those letters and you don't get to keep it, then just shop around in the new exchanges. The new exchanges have not been financially beneficial to those that have signed up for it. The exchanges have been higher priced on average for the people looking for insurance than what they had in previous policies, and that's been part of the problem. All the software and technical glitches and all that stuff aside, which was a debacle and very embarrassing on its face, but all that aside, the substance of what's happening is that people are paying more money. They're getting services that they don't need. They are getting brutalized in pricing. And we're still being told that this is the great solution to America's healthcare coverage needs. Let's talk to Joe in Georgia. Joe, welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough on AFA Today. Hi.
Fine. How are you doing? I just want to tell you I love your show, and
Thank
I'll just make one comment that I wish we could broadcast this on the front lawn of the White House. Maybe they would catch a clue. My question basically is this. History has shown us that in the past, when a group of people are pushed to a point, they're going to push back even harder. How likely do you think it is that these people, the American people, are going to form groups and they're going to pretty much just say, you know what, we'll pay the penalty. We don't want this. We can't afford this. We don't want this. And then they're going to start basically revolting. What do you think is the chance of that happening?
I don't know that there's going to be armed revolt, if that's what you're asking, but I do think something. I do think something will come about, and I don't know if it's going to be in the technology sphere or in the grassroots activism sphere. What I kind of anticipate is going to happen is that you're going to have a philosophical revolt that's going to lead to a technological solution, and there's going to be some way that people figure out to go around what the government's doing and to go back to the free market. Because I honestly think that the only solution to the problem of healthcare in general is for people to pay for what they need and use.
Right.
I don't think that buying all-encompassing and very cumbersome policies is what most people want. I think people want
anyway,
what they're going to end up needing, and there's going to be different scales for different people in terms of what they want. We want different policies now in the McCullough House because, we're in the childbearing stages of life. But when these ankle biters that we have now are 18 and 20 years of age, we're not going to need that coverage anymore. So what I'm saying is I think that if there is a revolt, I think what it will be is a return to the marketplace where the people of the nation will say, okay, this is how we're going to construct this new solution, because the thing that the government has offered is just an abysmal failure. And we're seeing that thus far in almost every relationship to it in every capacity.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And, I work at a hospital, and our insurance has gone up slightly, but our deductibles have gone up, not to the point where everyone was like $12,000, but it's gone up a couple of thousand. And I work in a hospital. We have some of the best insurance you can have.
Sure.
So it's just, I was just wondering, because I know a lot of people are unhappy with it, and it's just, I didn't know I hadn't heard anybody talk about that.
There's a lot of people that talk about having a revolt all the time. And that's in essence what the Tea Party was. It was just a statement of people coming together and saying, we don't like the direction that this is going. I do think I think it's going to have a huge impact, Joe, on the next couple of election cycles. I think that this is going to be something that's campaigned for or against, and I think that the people will have a chance to speak. The difference now in what happened with the Tea Party a couple of years ago is that now this is really hitting people's pocketbooks. When you see the increase coming to your pocketbook of 10 times the cost on a monthly basis, like the 56-year-old was dealing with and paying $54 a month, and now she pays $591 a month. When you see that that's going to get your attention. You're going to vote. You're going to get active. You're going to become involved in what's going on because you're feeling that pinch in a way that is probably unsustainable. My guess is, in her situation, I don't think that that's probably something that she can withstand for very long. Let's talk to Kim in Texas. Hi, Kim.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for being here. You're on with Calvin McCullough on AFA Today.
Well, I wanted to point out something that I haven't heard a lot of people mention. Both my husband and my brother work for the same major bank. The difference is my husband's income is much, much higher up on the food chain than my brother's is.
Mm-hmm.
A few years ago, after the law was signed in, they had a big overhaul of their insurance. There were mandatory meetings for everybody to attend. And they came out with, because of the future changes that are going to be coming down the line, they started tiering what they would allow for certain incomes.
Right.
So in other words, if you were lower on the food chain, you didn't have to pay as much on your insurance, and you actually saw a deduction in what you were going to have to pay each month. If you were higher in the income bracket, you lost. Our insurance each year has gone up considerably, and we have a company-sponsored insurance. But in addition to it going up substantially each year for the last couple of years, the policy itself is no longer as good as it used to be.
Benefits went down. Yep. I've heard that story 36 times in the last couple of weeks.
Yep, and that's what I think is just amazing to me, is that you can work for the same employer, but to make it fair for everybody, we're going to lower this income level, and you're going to have to increase yours so that we can pay to lower theirs.
Well, and that's in a private setting, Kim. Imagine that being rolled into a nationwide set of exchanges that people are going to go to now, thinking that they're getting something for nothing or something at much reduced price. It's all of the problems that the private sector has had with the increase of health insurance costs in the last few years. None of them have been solved. None of them have been. The Affordable Care Act doesn't solve any of them. In fact, it adds additional problems to them. And you know how? It says to the insurance companies, you will provide this kind of coverage for everyone. So now everyone's required to get the gold standard plan, the platinum plan, whatever, the all-inclusive, everything's there. Well, insurance companies are going, we really can't afford to make that possible for everybody because not everybody's paid the same way. And it's not going to matter. Everyone's going. So what's going to happen is private insurance companies are eventually going to go out of business because they can't service needs based on government mandates. They have to service needs based on monetary policy, resources that they have. You can't provide things for people that you don't have the money to pay for. The government knows that it has permanently rigged the game. It's not only one of the teams on the field playing, it's also now the referee, and it told the other team, instead of having the entire end zone to score a touchdown in, you're only allowed to score a touchdown going through this tiny little tunnel into the end zone. At least the president admitted it, though I wasn't impressed with his answer today. He said you can just get back in the exchanges and shop around. Well, encouraging you to shop around and what you're listening to here on AFR Talk. Stay with us because Brian Fisher's next. I'm Calvin McCullough. Have a great day. The Calvin McCullough Show coming your way tonight as well here on many of these same stations. See you tomorrow.